a shadow person when I was a little kid in Oakland, California, at my grandmother's apartment. And it really scared me. And when I was a little kid, I was so scared I put the blanket over my head like it was going to protect me, Liz. Hey, I got a blanket over me. Yeah, it's going to protect me. The problem is, you know what? I'll watch a scary movie yet today. And then we live in a big house. I got cedar trees all around us, like 2 acres worth. You hear all these strange noises sometimes at night, and then, all of a sudden I'll have this dream of like this monster or zombies coming into my house. You know what I do? My wife tells me that I pull the blanket over my head till this day. She'll say,
I don't think I've ever had a dream about monsters. I don't think I've ever had one.
Gee, your life is rather boring, kid. I mean, come on. I mean, that's the whole part. You watch a scary, B movie, like on Comet TV, something scary, and you go to bed at night, and then you hear some creepy noise at night, and you pull that blanket like it's going to protect you. Like the monster isn't going to see that you're in that bed, and it'll eat your wife instead.
I don't know. I don't. You know what? I have had a dream about aliens for some reason. After I watched the movie Signs, which I love that movie, but the first time I watched it, that night I had a dream about aliens. It's like, of all things, that was the one that triggered it. And it's the only one that I can ever remember having about movie-related anything.
Well, at least you had one. I'll tell you what. The aliens one time came down to abduct me out of my bed, and there was 2 of them. They come walking through the bedroom window, and they tried. I'm a big guy. Now, I've lost 50 pounds here in the last month. I'm doing good. But, I got fat the last couple of years because the doctors put me on steroids. So these 2 aliens come into my bedroom, right? And they said, okay, this is a good subject. He's big. We're going to take him on the spaceship. And then they did their thing, with that blue light, and nothing happened. And then the one alien said to the other alien, hey, we need another couple of our buddies down there. So the next thing, there's 4 aliens down in my bedroom. And they're trying to get me to, get picked up by that light to transport me on that spaceship. And then the other alien says, hey, come on, we need 2 more. So now there's 6 aliens trying to, they're trying to pick me up and lift me into the light. They couldn't do it. So they said the hell with it, and they went to the neighbors.
It's kind of like the meme that floats around occasionally. It's harder to what is it? The more you weigh, the harder you are to kidnap, or something like that.
Oh, yeah. Now, I have to admit, people, I was lying. I was never abducted by aliens. But if you want to abduct my wife some night, just come into our room and pick up the one that's snoring, please. No, I'm sorry. I know my wife is going to hear this. She doesn't snore that much, only about 6 hours out of 8.
Oh, well, it happens. It's okay.
Oh, yeah, sure. Have you ever tried sleeping next to somebody that snores all night?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I have.
You know what I end up doing, because I have so many listeners, they're always messaging me, because like out of the UK, at middle of the night, it's their, breakfast time. So they're sending me a message. So instead of sleeping, I'm wide awake because my wife is snoring. I'm sitting here texting people all night. My wife gets mad and starts punching me, saying, why are you keeping me awake? And I said, well, I'd rather have you awake and not snore.
Oh, no.
So yes.
I managed to kind of adjust to it. So it was more if the snoring stopped, I was wide awake. Like, okay, the sound stopped. What's going on?
You know what is really fun? You record the person snoring. And you record them for about 10 minutes snoring. And then you play it back right next to their ears. And you get the stereo effect. And then they wake up, they punch you, and say, I am trying to sleep. Will you quit snoring?
It sounds like you're speaking from experience on that.
Yes, I know. I am. But that's okay. It's only been going on for 42 years. It keeps me young.
Oh, well, it's not like it's been that long.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, moving right along about monsters and stuff. Okay. So you start writing about Bigfoot and all these creepy monsters near the fort, near where you live. Have you ever seen anything really creepy? Because you live on like 40 some acres or 30 some acres or whatever of anything ever strange sounds or anything creepy at night around where you live? And we're not talking about your next door neighbor.
My nearest neighbor, I can't even see their house, and the next nearest neighbor is like 3 football fields away. So I don't see much of them. Where I live, I haven't seen anything as far as animal or creature-wise. The only thing I've really seen in that respect was back when I was doing my EMT or paramedic training. I can't remember which one. And we were driving back home. My mom was with me. And, of course, this is right on the edge of the Mark Twain National Forest that we're driving through. And it's a major road. This thing kind of just trots up the road in front of us. We had to slam on the brakes to keep from hitting it, and it turns and looks at us. And the first thought is, oh, this is a mountain lion. And because that was the color, that was the general size. But then as we're looking at it, the build was completely wrong. Like it was not a mountain lion. The body build was more of a cheetah.
Interesting.
The ears were rounded. And when it turned and looked at us, like the face had these deep creases and wrinkles in it. I mean, it had a very cat-like appearance, but at the same time, it had a dog-like appearance. And to this day, we have no idea what it was. We still do not know. And understand that, my entire family back to my great-grandparents, great-great-grandparents were born and raised in this general area. We know every animal. My mom saw mountain lions before they went more, I won't say extinct in this area, but, became less common in this area. She had seen them. We don't know what it was. We have no idea. It was not a dog. It was not a mountain lion. There's no other cat in this area that should be that size. We don't know what it was.
That would be scary. I mean, did it stare at you guys for a while before it took off, or did you guys take off first?
It trotted across the road and stopped on the shoulder and just turned and looked at us. and just stood there. I mean, it was not afraid at all. And it turned and looked at us as it just kind of slowly trotted across the road. It was not running. It was not afraid in any way. And we didn't stop to look at it. I mean, this thing is huge. So we just kept going, but we don't know what it was. It obviously had no fear of the car or us.
Well, there's a lot of things, that are out in the woods yet, I think, that haven't been discovered. The same way if you go deep in the oceans, every so often, you'll see a picture on the news media. It brings up some prehistoric looking whatever, creature that has washed ashore. There's things out there we don't know. You go deep in the mountains, for example, there's a lot of areas where, us humans haven't been or haven't been frequently to. That there is creatures out there, like people still talk about Bigfoot, and I just don't believe you're going to find Bigfoot, 2 blocks away from a city. I think you need to be way out somewhere, and that's where you'll find creatures. What I can't understand, Liz, maybe you can answer this. When I came into my area 20 years ago, it was all woods around here, all cedars, trees. Hardly any houses where I'm at. Now it's all built up. I'm the only one that has any trees left because I was smart. I bought the property because I wanted to be secluded. So now I'm secluded. Everybody else isn't. But the thing is, when I first moved here, I saw a bear and 2 cubs walking, down the road. A lot of deer, a lot of really strange animals. Nowadays, I maybe see a deer once or twice a year. They don't go running through my property like they used to. I haven't seen a bear in 19 years. Where do they go off to?
Yeah, they're going to move to more isolated areas.
Yeah, but the thing is, when areas build up every which way, I don't know how they could even move off to somewhere because there's no place for them to move to.
They will migrate hundreds of miles. I mean, they will just keep moving and moving and moving until they get to a place that's isolated and away from people.
Yeah, it's a shame, It's even, I hate to say it, I used to have huge raccoons here, and I'm talking huge, and I hardly even see raccoons anymore. And the ones I see are small, but the ones I remember were big as a dog. Oh yeah,
we have those all the time where I live. I mean, I kind of live in the middle of nowhere. I personally have 35 acres. Everything around me is farms and woods. We have a rather large herd of deer that is between here and the river, which is a mile away. So, we're constantly seeing deer or turkeys.
Oh, wow. You mean turkeys?
Oh, yes, turkeys, yes.
Oh, wow.
And we have a bear that is close. My son and I were fixing part of our electric fence, so the fence was off, which made us a little nervous because that was our only barrier, was this 2 strands of electric wire that is now off. We're fixing it. My son didn't hear it. I heard the bear just over the hill on our property. It's like, we need to go to the house now. Let's just forget the fence. We need to go to the house. And the horses were in the yard outside of the fence because, we knew it was down. And by the time we got to the house, the horses were standing at our door. They heard it too, and their eyes were huge. They beat us to the house. It's really, come on. You're going to let the bear eat us? I mean, come on.
Well, I take it, what type of bear do you have in your area?
We have black bear.
Yeah, they're the ones that love eating people. You know that.
Black bear in this area are more timid. So they're if you're making a lot of noise and things, chances are they're not going to bother you. They would much rather just raid your trash pile than bother with you.
But up in the Canadian Rockies that time we encountered, I'm not going to go into it, but after we encountered what we did and we drove to that little store like 15 miles away, the guy was saying, besides, Bigfoot in the area, that they are black bears in the area, and he was saying just a week before that, I guess there was a man and wife were hiking in the woods, and I guess the wife got hurt. He went to get help. By the time he went and got help and they got there, his wife was half eaten by bears.
Oh, yeah. The bears that are in our area, thankfully, are few and far between, and like I said, they're more timid. They would much rather stay away from you under most circumstances than to approach you, so we are lucky with that.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't want to run across one. I know when I was a little kid, my uncle he was out actually bear hunting, and he shot a bear. This is up near Mount Shasta. This is going back, 60 years ago. He shot a bear, and evidently the bear kept coming, and from what the report was, what I heard from other family members that was there, his son, anyway, from what I heard, is that, he shot the bear several times. He didn't get the kill shot. The bear mauled him, really bad, where he was in the hospital for well over a month or more. They thought he was going to die. And it just makes you wonder, like, don't go out in the woods.
Yeah.